Dr. John Adabi Apia, a senior specialist for pediatric critical care at the Konfuanochi Teaching Hospital, Kath, Kumasi, in his opening remarks at the virtual meeting for the launch, said road accidents were becoming a major global public health threat and requires a multi-sectorial approach to address it. He said current statistics in Ghana showed that there are over 12,000 road crashes involving 20,000 vehicles, resulting in 12,300 injuries, leading to an estimated cost of about 1.6% of the country's gross domestic product. Again, it is estimated that out of the 72% of every 100,000 people who suffered serious injuries from these accidents, more than 60% are children. Close to 15% of patients admitted to the intensive care unit of the accident center at the Kath, for instance, were involved in road accidents with various degrees of injuries and disabilities, including loss of body parts, leaving these persons to suffer psychological and physical trauma. The campaign of the PSG is therefore aimed at enhancing public awareness and education and called for the involvement of all stakeholders.
So the road safety campaign was actually launched in 2021 to create awareness on children as pedestrians, as road users, as motorists, and to let people know that when the statistics are put out there are children actually involved, and these children are future leaders, and when their lives end so abruptly, so shortly, then we are depriving the nation of a lot of things. So we want to create awareness to let people know that a lot of children are involved in road traffic accidents, and so we need to do something about it. We need to put the message out there. We need to let everyone get involved to minimize or actually stop all these things that are happening on our road. Awareness through social media, through print media, through TV stations and radio. So creating awareness, talking to people, going to schools, talking to parents, letting people know that we all need to play a role. We all have a role to play, and then we all need to take steps, involving policy and stakeholders into this conversation so that something is done about it. The Road Safety Commission, the National Media Authority, the National Communications Authority, we all need to come together, including the Pediatric Society, because this is children, and then we all come together, sit down, and then put in steps, measures to make sure that children are protected. The road traffic accidents do not involve a lot of children as is happening currently.
Dr. Adabi explained that the World Health Organization estimates that every 4 minutes a child may die from a road traffic accident.
Is that every 4 minutes a child dies from road traffic accidents, which is very alarming. And in children, in 2019, as we said earlier, over 2,000 deaths occurred from road traffic accidents, and more than 11% included children less than 16. So imagine the number of children we have actually lost in that year alone, 2019, from road traffic accidents. There was a study done from 2004 to 2008 about road traffic accidents, and over 20% of people involved were children. So a lot of children are dying through road traffic accidents. Yes, they are dying through malaria, they are dying through other diseases, but then road traffic accidents is claiming the lives of a lot of children, and so we need to make noise about it. Earlier on, like we put out there, the cartoons, so we talked about children being pedestrians, because sometimes as pedestrians they are not aware of their surroundings, and so they are not aware of the hazards involved, and then they may get hit by a vehicle or anything could happen to them. Children in buses, or yes, in buses, because school children being in buses, the hazards involved. Children in our cars, as parents, we drive children around. What safety precautions are we taking in the cars? All these are causes of road traffic accidents, because if, as you have a baby, a child less than 2 in a car, and then the child is not put in a car seat, and then the child is allowed to be in the vehicle, and then you end abruptly on the road, you can imagine what happens to the child. So there are a lot of factors that are involved.
And what roles parents should play, she said.
All the policy holders have a role to play. So as a parent, you have to ensure that when your child is in the car, your child is adhering to the proper safety measures. Example, your child less than 8 should not be sitting in a car just like that. The child should be 8 years and above should be strapped in a seat belt, and then children less than 8 should be put in a car seat. Children 4 years and above should be put in car boosters. Yes, we know sometimes these things are quite expensive, but if you own your own vehicle, then it will be proper to make sure that the right measure is put in place. If your child's school, you have to be sure that the driver taking care of these children, driving these children around, is a defensive driver. It's a driver who knows what he's about on the road. So as a parent, you should be interested in what kind of driver is taking your child to and from school. You should be interested in what bus is being used. You should actually look into the car to see how the car looks like. How many children are being put on a seat on a row? How many children are seated there? We should be interested. Is there a teacher or another caregiver in the bus, or a conductor in the bus with the children, to ensure that they are doing the right things in the vehicle? So as a parent, that's what you can do.
That notwithstanding, the MTTDs also have this role to play.
Police, the MTTD, who control the traffic situations, when they see a driver misbehaving who is carrying school children, they should be able to stop the driver, seize the bus, and make sure that the right thing is done. The school does the right thing. If possible, schools should get appropriate school buses for the children and not use structures improvised buses for the children. As an MTTD officer, you can also ensure that when you're on the road, you look out for these children. And sometimes, as a parent, you need to advise the children when you are playing by the roadside and your object falls on the road. Do not be in a haste to pick the object from the road. Talk to an older person to try and get the objects for you, to retrieve the objects for you. As a child less than 10, you should not cross the road by yourself without the help of an assistant. So sometimes you get to some of our zebra crossings and you realize that there's an assistant standing there with a flag, a red and green, to stop vehicles, to let the children cross. So children less than 10 who are crossing the road should always make sure that they have an older person. Talk to the child. When you are going to cross the road, make sure you have an older person to help you. Sometimes you see that when the car stops, the child is just running across the road, and we need to make noise, educate the children. Yes, they may not understand fully, but then we need to keep making the effort and trying to get them to come on board with all of us. So we all have roles to play. National Road Safety Commission is already on a road safety campaign, so they'll add this to it as well, and then we'll keep making the noise. We'll keep making the noise for stakeholders to come in, policy holders. We all need to come together.
It is said that Ghana does not have a specific national road traffic safety policy in place for children, but existing documents on accidents and emergency had only a small portion in its pages devoted to children. Apart from their direct involvement in road traffic crashes, experts say that children also suffered greatly from the consequences of accidents, resulting in the loss of their parents, siblings, or benefactors. Additionally, road traffic accidents have been estimated to be among the leading cause of death among Ghanaian school children. This can be attributed to the absence of pedestrian walkways and zebra crossings on some major streets, and a lot could be done to address the anomalies to enhance road safety for users. One of the many solutions to this menace is the functionality of traffic light, which is an outstanding issue here in front of the Holy Trinity Secondary School on the John Evans at Mills High Street, where majority of students within this jurisdiction use the road. Calls for the construction of speed ramps, traffic lights, and the placement of visible speed limit road signs close to educational establishments, intensifying enforcement of the laws and punitive measures for offenders are therefore being put across to help reduce the dangers posed especially to child pedestrians.